Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of A Rambling Yarn, which is my podcast. I think this is episode, I want to say 11. It's been a little bit, as it always is, in between episodes, so I'm pretty sure my last one was 10. This one should be 11. I have a bit of a pregnancy brain fog, so pardon me if that's incorrect, but here we go. Today's episode is probably going to be a little bit on the shorter side. I have been just not as busy as usual with the making. I kind of dipped a little bit because I am now 28 weeks pregnant and exhaustion is real, and exhaustion while taking care of other small children is phenomenal. So the making has been on a little bit of a break, but here we are. So I think in the last episode, I had shown you a blanket that I was making for my sister-in-law who was expecting her first baby. She welcomed her first son with her husband into the world late in July, early August, like first week of August. And so the blanket in question was gifted to them prior at her baby shower. And it was giant. And as per usual, I did not take any pictures. But she did send me one of it. Because of its size, she is kind of stealing it for a while and using it to cuddle up with in bed and on the couch and all of that. And eventually it will move with him once he's no longer a super itty-bitty tiny newborn baby size. So she did send me a picture. I'll insert that on one side or the other because it turned out huge. And that's the only finished object that I would have had to share with you. I had a pair of socks that was very, very close to becoming an FO or a HFO to share. HO, whatever. But I got down to the toe and I realized that I could not, for the life of me, find the mini that I had been using as a contrast color for the heel. That is nowhere to be found, so I could not finish the sock, which is terribly unfortunate. So I am still on the lookout for that. I was making the crunkled socks. I cannot remember the designer's name, but I will put her name on the screen for anyone who's interested, which is a really wonderful, kind of like an extended broken rib situation. The pattern was really fun, and I was using some really fun, like that Zauber ball, kind of variegated, I don't know, it almost looks like a hand spun with lots of different colors intertwined together. On the purpley side, it was really fun, so I was kind of annoyed that I got to the very end and then I couldn't find my yarn. So that is on pause. I have not given up. I will find that yarn. I just have no idea. Where do these things go? It doesn't make any sense. That would have been a half-finished object, though, but I don't have that. Instead, I do have, well, let's see, I have 2 whips that I will show, and then I just kind of have some fun little acquirings and dream knitting to share with you. So the first work in progress that I have slowly but surely been working on the Birds of a Feather shawl that is designed by Andrea Mowry. And I am using, to double check the name because it's, for some reason, it is one where I always want to call it something else. I don't know why, but it's another phrase that is stuck in my brain, and that's what it resorts to. So now I double check myself every single time because but the Birds of a Feather by Andrea Mowry, and I am using Fiber for the People. I showed it last time, and I want to say that I was somewhere around, where am I? I want to say last time I was around here in like this third section. So I've made a little bit more progress. It is out of kind of the awkward shaped phase and starting to look a little bit more like a shawl. I made it past the first lace section, which certainly was interesting, and can I just say I do not recommend doing this sort of thing if you do not have time to actually sit and concentrate. That's not good. But it's I wouldn't say it's mindless, but it's very, like, you definitely get into a groove as you're working on this, regardless of the lace. And it does seem to work up pretty quickly. So I'm looking forward to actually being able to devote a little bit more time to this in the near future. It's currently kind of just taking a little bit of a break as I work on some baby knits and stuff. And I'm trying to keep myself from casting on a sweater. Now that we've gotten to the end of summer, the weather is starting to get cooler and crisper, and I have been able to wear a cardigan once or twice already. Like, it's so much cooler, it's so wonderful, and I live for this kind of weather. So I am now, of course, itching. I am itching to put on a sweater onto my needles, and I have multiple ideas, but we'll see. I showed the yarn that I was using for the shawl in the previous podcast, but I have the main color is this kind of pretty variegated orange called Pear. It's just on a single ply, lovely, super squishy, delightful single ply. And then it's being paired up with Mohair, just held single. Some lovely foof. And this colorway is Yucca. Yes, Yucca. My next work in progress is for a friend of mine who is about to have a baby, like between now and the end of the month, which is really exciting. It's almost done. Bella, this is yours. So unless you aren't particularly down for a surprise, you have been warned. I'll give you like 5 seconds to look away, because yours is up next. These are there's some grass I was knitting outside in the yard earlier. The Linus pants. And they are covered in stitch markers. So they are just little pants. I'm making the size, I believe, 3 to 6 months, so that hopefully this sweet little baby can wear them more in the winter, and going into spring. They've got a little cable design on the front, or not the front, on the sides of the legs. They have little cabling, which has been interesting because there's apparently a bug in here. I don't think that I've done anything with cables seriously at all since really starting to knit. That's a little bit better. Once they're blocked, they'll definitely be able to see. Not me. I do remember making, once upon a time, some year in high school when I'd been knitting a little bit more with Bella, actually, back in the day. And I think I made somebody, it might have been her, it might have been another friend, but I made them a chunky hat. I made somebody a chunky knit hat, and I did a cable somewhere. I don't know if it was just one or like around. It definitely would not have been a super complicated cable, and I had no idea what I was doing, but from what I remember, it was very similar to this, so it must have just been just a very intuitive, basic cable that I was playing around with. But that was the one and only time that I've ever done cables, so it's been kind of fun. It was looking at the pattern initially was pretty intimidating, and I kind of questioned myself before I cast on about whether or not I wanted to include the cable in the like pattern, or if I wanted to just pretend like maybe it didn't exist. And I am very glad that I just kind of stuck with it and decided to try a new thing, because now I have knit something almost to completion that has, albeit a very basic, cable, and it'll be very cute. And so I'm about just working on the cuff of the second leg here, and it actually has buttonholes, which I have also never done before, because on the back it is supposed to have overalls. It's supposed to be like a little pair of overalls, which is also very interesting. I'll have to let me find a picture. Let's see, I don't know. You can really see what those are the Linus pants. They are really darling. They really are. And it's really, if you go on Instagram, you can see, just look up the hashtag Linus pants, and you'll be able to see all the different variations, which is always one of the most fun things to do. The designer of this pattern, to the best of my ability of pronunciation, her name is Katerina Drahosova, and I think I found this on Instagram, so I will put her Instagram handle on the screen along with her name. But they are darling, and they've worked up really quick. I am using Knitpicks Stroll in a tonal colorway, which of course now I cannot remember the name of said colorway. It was some sort of sage or aloe, or actually, no, I think it was eucalyptus. I think eucalyptus is the name. So all I need right now, and I've only been using, I don't think I'll even use the whole thing, so I bought just one hank of it, which was 100 grams, and it's fingering weight. And all I need to do now, after I put on the little back straps, is to find some buttons, which I do not have a collection of buttons. I don't do a whole lot of sewing. I haven't really needed buttons to repair anything. I don't have a bunch of buttons that have fallen off. That's really never happened to me either. So I need to go on to to Amazon or Joann's or Michael's or somewhere, I don't know, and find some really cute buttons for this. And also try to decide what color. Just thinking maybe red, like a pretty red would be fun, or yellow, white, or maybe a tortoise shell. I don't know, I'll have to see what I can find, but that's all I have left to do on that, and it really won't take long, and then we'll give it a good blocking, and hopefully they fit a 3 to 6 month old baby. I made the legs a little longer than suggested because I figured that they could be rolled up, and maybe that would give them a little bit more of a wear time. I don't know. We'll see. Baby things are finicky because you really never know. You really never know how big a baby is going to be. If they're going to have really long legs or short legs, or be like super skinny or like super chunky, or who knows. So hopefully this fits. Hopefully it gets a little bit of wear in the appropriate season. I don't know. If not, they can go on a baby doll or something. I know that even if they don't fit, they will be appreciated by the person who they are being gifted to. And that's all. So it should be, they'll be nice and warm. It's wool. I'm trying to remember if there's any nylon in it. I think there's nylon in it. I think it's a merino nylon blend. They're going to someone who knows how to take care of woolen items, so I'm not really worried about that. And it's very exciting. So while we're talking about baby knits, next up on my list of things to start as far as babies are concerned is the Raindrops sweater, which is a yoke, I believe a circular yoke pullover by the infamous Can Knits. Here's a very grainy picture because my printer's having issues. Oh hey, the back actually has better pictures with no words. Look. So it's a really cute, it's got a really cute, very simple lace yoke design. As always, Can Knits has patterns in every size, from newborn baby to Andre the Giant. What's not to love? And I bought, while I was ordering from Knitpicks, I bought some more Stroll in this kind of heathered purple, because of course I would. I am a lover of the purple shades, of all shades. This is called Sprinkle Heather, and this one these ones came in 50 gram skeins, which is 231 yards. So I've got 2 of these. We'll see how much I need, but it is a very fun kind of iridescent heathered purple, and I'm very excited. So I will start that. Once these pants are done, I'll start that and really try not to cast on a sweater for myself, as I said previously. Although I have been thinking, in previous episodes, I have mentioned the May cardigan, which I knit last year, which has become one of my most worn knits. I wear it all the time, especially in transitional seasons. And that one is by Pip and Pin, and I used just kind of a mishmash. I had a bunch of random skeins that were from Fiber for the People updates, where I didn't have any particular project in mind when I bought them, so I kind of a weird quantity, so I smushed them together and it managed to be just enough. And yeah, that's been one of my absolute favorites. So I was actually thinking maybe I will knit the same pattern and kind of apply the same idea of taking yarn that I've had in stash, kind of in a weird quantity that has no particular purpose at the moment, not being saved for any projects, wasn't bought for a particular project. Or, well, in this case, it was bought for a particular project, which was made, and now I have leftovers. But making the same Mame a cardigan. But instead of using fingering weight, kind of finagle, I have a bunch of DK. This is the colorway Carnival Barker. Fiber for the People, which I actually had ordered. This was a dye to order back in like 2019, I think is when I ordered it for myself for my birthday, along with, I think this one is called Rust. Both of these I used in the Petrichor sweater pattern, which was a colorwork pullover by More Thunder. And I have enough left that I'm pretty sure I could stretch this. It's superwash, so it will grow. I'm pretty sure I could stretch this and make another cardigan in just a slightly heavier weight. And I think that would be great for newborn, carrying a newborn around, and nursing a newborn and all of that good stuff. So I've been toying with that. The other idea that I had is I've been sitting on the No Frills pattern by Petite Knits. I've had that printed out and I've been eyeing that for a while, and I think that one does call, it's either Sport or DK. I want to say it calls for DK weight. And that's just been sitting here. It looks like a very simple, straightforward pattern, and like I probably could knock it out pretty quickly if I just did it, but I don't know, we'll see. At this point, a cardigan is probably better. I can't really try on a sweater right now because the bump's growing and I'm not going to be this size for a long time. But it's really hard to take measurements because I also don't know what size I'm going to be after the bump is gone. Because it's not going to be what I was before, at least for a while. So that's a whole nother fun thing. So those are my whips. My finished object that is not actually physically present. My want to be half finished object, which is not going to make an appearance because it's sad. And my dream knitting. So moving on to acquisitions. A couple of weeks ago, we went home, my little family and I, we went to visit our family in Connecticut. We got to visit my new nephew. And while we were there, it actually coincided with the I-91 shop hop, which is really fantastic because I don't think I've actually ever done a shop hop or a shop event. And I have learned about more local yarn stores in my home state of Connecticut after I moved away from there. And this one in particular is one that I know it's been raved about by, well, Bella in particular, but I've seen a lot of other makers in Connecticut. They tend to have little pop-ups here and there, and it's a really cute shop. So I was really excited that the timing worked out and I was able to go and take part of it. We did not actually do any shop hopping, but Bella and I went and we visited U&U Fiber Arts in Windsor, I believe it's Windsor, Connecticut, which was really fun. And they had, they had a pop-up booth from Silver Key Stitches, who is a dyer in, I think it's South Windsor. I think she dyes out of South Windsor. Yep, she hand dyes out of South Windsor, as well as another booth which I cannot remember the name of, but I know that if you go to the U&U Fiber Arts page on Instagram, and you go back a little bit, she has information about who was going to be there and all of that. So you can look her up. She didn't sell yarn, but she made quilted bags and whatnot. So that was cool. And then as we were leaving, the guys from the Needles at the Ready podcast showed up, which was kind of cool. I mean, we were on our way out, so we didn't really stick around or introduce ourselves or whatever. But that was kind of cool to see other more established YouTubers, podcasters. Like, oh, hey, I've seen them before. You know. So the things that I ended up purchasing, because it's been a long time since I've actually spent money on yarn and been into a local yarn shop in person. So this is what I got. As previously established, I love purple, and I love it in every shade pretty much that I can find it. And I also really love Lane and Lotus, who is on a sabbatical right now. I don't know if her website is up. I haven't checked, but I know quite a while ago she decided to take a break from dyeing for her own just kind of mental health rejuvenation. So when we went into the shop, it kind of was, I mean, they carry some of the Lane and Lotus, some of her stuff, and what's there was there, and who knows when there will be more. So I did pace myself. I only got one thing, but I wish I could have gotten all of the things. And I found this, which actually matches my... I said that I love purple. I really do. I love her logo. This has just some greens and grays and of course purple. This one is called Mercury Retrograde, which makes me giggle, so that was great. And it's on her Squish DK base, which is superwash merino and nylon. So that was a really fun find. And then next was this one, which is by Silver Key Stitches. And this one is kind of funny because this is called Bling. Or it's on the Bling, her Bling base, and it's called, the colorway is Aurora. Bling meaning it has, I'm assuming, because it has silver stellina in it. And she, as I said, hand dyes. Oh, I'm going to overheat my camera. She hand dyes out of South Windsor, and I got this little mini here. Also, I'm assuming on her Bling to go together. These are, the purple obviously isn't too surprising. This one, however, is like really out of my wheelhouse as far as colors go. I like bold, but I don't do like super bright neon very often. But I just couldn't help it. It just was really fun. No idea what I'm going to do with it. There was a free shawl pattern, a one skein shawl pattern that I took notes on to find that somebody made out of this actually, which is one of the reasons why I went back and decided to choose this yarn. So maybe that's what it will be. I don't know, but I'll keep you updated. Could be socks, could be a shawl. They just were super fun, and I figured I'd go for something a little bit different. And this one was called, I actually don't know what its colorway is. It was the only one on this little rack that did not have a tag, of course, but I believe it's a Merino Cloud by Art Yarn or something like that. And this is a Merino Cashmere Nylon, I believe. But I couldn't walk away without it because it actually kind of reminds me of the cow. It just was beautiful. I don't know. I've also never done anything with, something like this before, so. I splurged. Do I have anything else? I don't think so. And that's it. That's it. My family and I are preparing for fall, for our first year of sending a child to school, and for a baby to show up at some point around Thanksgiving and all of that really lovely fun stuff, and for wearing all of the sweaters. I need to go put all of my handmade socks in the bath because they have had a nice long rest during the summer. So I need to get those prepped out, and that about sums up what we've been up to and what I've been up to and everything that's been going on. Thank you for letting me ramble to you once again. I really do appreciate it. I know it's a small podcast. I know it doesn't happen terribly often, but if you're here, whether you've just joined me or you have been kind of following me all along, I appreciate you. I appreciate you very much. So thanks for coming along with me. If you want to follow, I update a little bit more frequently. If you want to follow more of my kind of yarny rambling journey, you can follow me at a.rambling.yarn on Instagram. And I am on Ravelry, though I don't post very often at all with my project pages. I am very bad. I'm trying to be a little bit better. And I can't even tell you what the name is that I've used on there. I don't think I've changed it over to a rambling yarn yet, but I will try to make that happen because it probably should. But Instagram is probably your best bet if you want to follow around what I'm doing. Thank you. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy heading into fall. You've got something good on your hook or your needles. Until next time, bye guys.